So I want to address a couple things in the recent video that I put out on why all of you D2R players should give Project Diablo 2 a chance in this upcoming Season 6. And the number one concern in the comments here is that, well, D2R has better graphics. And the answer back from most people is graphics don't matter. And I think actually both of you are wrong on this. Graphics do absolutely matter. And I'm saying this as someone who is a graphics whore. I have to have a very expensive gaming PC because I have to play on, at minimum, once I went to 2K resolution, I couldn't go back. There are certain games that I cannot replay because they just don't scale well. Like, I will never replay original Mass Effect now that Mass Effect Legendary has come out and it's essentially the same game with updated graphics. What I think people are missing, though, is, I guess, the main point. You don't have to play PD2 exclusively. I've mentioned this before. It is on 4-month cycle resets. And it's simply something you don't have to do all the time. I mean, let me put it this way. I have a bunch of analogies for you. And, maybe if you're not a gaming person, maybe you're all gaming people, but, some of you might be movie people or sports people or things like that. But I think what you're missing is the essence of gaming. And that is the gameplay itself. So if I watch the modern NFL, for example, it is far more exciting than the 1980s. I mean, it's not even close. If I want to watch a bunch of wishbone formations and guys running up the middle, I think I'd rather just throw on Australian rugby and be done with it. But at the same time, as a hardcore NFL fan, someone who delves into draft, like I get excited for the draft, like I'm that dude. I'll go look up draft prospects and memorize the top 100 players and know the fits for the teams. But if I don't go back and review the 1985 Bears and understand how the 46 defense revolutionized the game and the invention of the West Coast offense to silence it, or the perfection of it, I should say, it was obviously invented before that for all the hardcore NFL fans, you sort of miss out on the history of things. Now again, if I was forced to only watch 1980s football, I think I would get a little bit bored with it. But at the same time, delving into where you came from isn't an issue. And again, same thing with movies. I'm a huge movie nerd. And my favorite series of all time is the Aliens franchise. Now, if I go back and really look at 1986's Aliens, which I think is actually the best entry in the series, all you hardcore purists for the 1979 original, fuck you. But Aliens is not a visually stunning movie. It was for the time. Actually, I hope there's a couple Aliens fans out here who know what I'm talking about. But if you actually look at it, they don't actually do any shots in that film that show anything graphically phenomenal. It's actually a lot of cutscenes to imply action. It's a lot of gunfire focused on the camera, or focused on the main person, and then it cuts to an alien blowing up. You don't get a whole perception of the room. You don't get these grand spectacles like Two Towers, for example, of the Lord of the Rings franchise, which I think is one of the best shot movies ever because of the ending battle scene. You always know what's going on in every aspect of the Battle of the... not Battle of the Bulge, I'm going into history. The sacking of the fucking castle at the end. I have no script for this, obviously. But the point is, you have a visual representation of this entire battlefield. So when you see the dam explode, or the wall explode, you know exactly where that is in the battlefield. If you want an example of how to do this poorly in a very good movie, actually look at Avengers Endgame. That is actually my only criticism of the movie, is that the ending battle scene is so amalgamous. There's nothing to latch onto. It's visually stunning, and it is better looking than, say, Helm's Deep. But it's not there. There's something missing. And that doesn't mean you can't enjoy both. You can enjoy the Helm's Deep scene for how it's shot and say, well, it's going to look a little bit outdated in a few years. I don't think it will. It's going to hold up very well. But you can still say, I like Avatar because of the graphics, and it's phenomenal for the time, but at the same time, you should probably still go watch A Streetcar Named Desire. It'd be one thing if you're stuck constantly with old things, but you're not. That is the essence of how the Diablo seasons work. And what I was saying is you can play both. Give it a shot. And remember, PD2 is not just the old Diablo 2 graphics. I think some of you might just be loading up Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction and assuming it's the same. The graphics have been upscaled. It is still pixel art, but it is still phenomenal looking. And it holds up. You'd be surprised. Go view it with the new upscaling and see how it plays. I'm telling you, I'm not saying you have to switch. It's a free mod. You just have to have a copy of Lord of Destruction, which I assume most of you have. So I had like I said, a bunch of analogies, but I think those two are just fine. Again, if you're a sports fan, a hardcore sports fan, you know you always have to go back and view your history. You have to know where things came from. If you're a movie fan, you have to know where things came from. And if you don't appreciate where things originated or the originality that it took, I would just argue that you're missing something. And if you're one of those people who says, well, the old films are better than these updated graphics and the newfangled films, I think you're also missing something. What I'm saying is you can play both. And all I'm asking is that you give PD2 a shot, because I think a lot of you would just be on the reset like most players are. They play D2R, it resets, it goes dead in 2 months because of everyone leaving, and they go play PD2. Same thing happens, they go back to D2R. I mean, I'm not sure that again, I'm not just shitting on the people who say, well, I can't play it because of the graphics. I'm absolutely there with you. I'm literally going to start playing Dragon Age, if it loads, over the next few days, because this game is visually stunning and I love it. It's not the best entry in the series. I will still go back and play Origins when I feel like playing a better game, but man, this is absolutely stunning, and I can appreciate both. So I would like everyone to just chill for a little bit and maybe realize that both of you have points, but you're kind of talking past each other. So good luck with that, and I'm going to... I didn't even pull up Origin or Inquisition because I'm a terrible YouTuber, but the point is, yes, this still looks phenomenal, but yeah, Origins is the best entry in the series, but God, can you understand that you could appreciate both here? Give it a shot. Give PD2 a shot. I promise you won't be disappointed.